Hello and welcome everybody to day 2 of week 5 here for the Tencent LPL Summer. My name is Pastry Time. I'm going to be joined by Papa Smithy here for this one. Papa, a massive day of matches yesterday for day 1 here of week 5, and we've gone full rotation now. Let's just start game 1 off with EPHK versus OMG.
Absolutely, and what a day to end, the first set of matches we're going to see. Obviously, we started casting on the first day of week 1. We've now come full circle. And yesterday just kind of threw off almost everything I thought I knew about Chinese League of Legends, about the Tencent LPL. They were just giant killing all over the place. And now we return to the scene of our first game we cast in the LPL, OMG against EPHK. Of course, EPHK on the blue side this time. And if you remember last time, we saw a mid-Pantheon. We saw Sun on his famous Graves. We saw Big Pomelo starting the Blitzcrank train. And of course, there was that mana, sort of the occult, very early, the sort of the occult rush, and obviously mana in returns in reference to mana's good or bad, depending on how you look at it. So who knows what's going to happen here, Pastry Time.
Yeah, I mean, Big Pomelo was on Blitzcrank. He was dancing in the fountain towards the end. It was a little one-sided, to say the least here. No real surprise here, given the standings of these two teams currently in the tournament, but we'll see. I mean, as we said yesterday, it was a massive day of surprises. We'll see for EPHK here. They do have their win on the board. They did not have that when we first started casting at the start of week 3, but we'll see here. OMG, despite taking a recent loss or two, actually, which is very surprising, still looking very strong here in the LPL Summer, so we'll see what they can do. The bans on the left there for EPHK, Twitch, Nunu, and Twisted Fate, and Thresh, Elise, and Cannon over on the other side. Interestingly enough, no Yorick ban this time around. It seems like OMG may be moving away from that, but we've got Zac, Nami, and Caitlyn on the Energy Pacemaker side, and OMG have gone with Renekton, Lee Sin. They've got Vayne, and they're currently considering Fiddlesticks, Papa Smithy.
Yeah, there might be a Fiddlesticks support. That wouldn't be too surprising, but no, they're considering Sona now here. I mean, Renekton definitely be evolving into that really early pick. We see the Twitch ban coming out here. That makes sense. The Nunu ban from EPHK is interesting just because obviously OMG really struggled yesterday against Young Glory with that jungle Nunu. He felt, for once Loveland felt, a little defenseless when it came to snowballing lanes or winning the game there. So interesting to see that banned. But yeah, Nami of course picked up very early here, and finally the return of Caitlyn. Despite how well Royal was doing with that Caitlyn pick early in the LPL, she's kind of been unsighted most of this split.
Yeah, haven't seen her around too much, so EPHK are going to try their luck here. Nami Caitlyn, kind of an interesting lane as well. It's very annoying to have Tidecaller's Blessing Pressure at that very long 650 range. And the next two picks here could also round up, yes, a very curious lineup here. Mid-Z is likely what we're going to be seeing here, and we've got Jarvan in the jungle there as well. So kind of interesting. They've got two really big damage threats with both, I guess, two different AD carries in a sense. We've got Zed, of course, and then we've got Caitlyn. And then just some big beefy frontliner and a support to Tide altogether. Very curious, very AD damage focused comp here from EPHK.
We do see the Ahri pick into Zed. That's very interesting to me. I can definitely see the all-in potential being stronger for Ahri if she can ever stay equal or ahead. If she can pick up that DFG and really be able to trade against Supercat on Zed here. But yeah, in terms of magic damage, we're only really talking the base damages coming out from Domox on that on that Zac, Zed Zac, a little bit of a tongue twister there. But yeah, maybe we'll see some magic pen coming out, just because you could be pretty confident as the Zac here that not going to be seeing too much magic resist on the OMG side.
I have to say, just looking through the Energy Pacemaker lineup, kind of at its face value, it seems like they're really set up to siege and push really effectively. You talk a lot, Papa, about how good Zed's split pushing ability is once you get Blade of the Ruined King. We talk a lot about Caitlyn being the siege queen and how Jarvan gives so much to pushes when he starts them as well. How Zac's really good at defending off lanes with AoE as well. And Nami's a great disengage champion. So if Energy Pacemaker Hong Kong want to try and set up for some sort of fast push, and Caitlyn definitely facilitates that, then I really like their comp as a push comp. The only issue though is the way OMG like to play, especially when they've got someone like Loveland back on Lee Sin. Could be a lot of freight trains starting here for OMG, and it can be scary to push against that, and we actually have a pause. Looks like it is going to finish up now as well. Just some wards getting cleared out there, so nice pressure from OMG, able to move some of those green wards that are being put down out of the way early here at level 1.
And one of the advantages of being on these VODs is that we get to fast forward through all those unfortunate connection issues and the like, so much shorter than usual. And I agree here. It's one of those things where we were talking about the previous Caitlyn. We saw her choice of BF item. We saw her rush in the Infinity Edge, and we talked about the values of the Bloodthirster versus the Infinity Edge. Given what you're saying, given the comp put together, it would be almost surprising not to see the Bloodthirster come out here, just because it's all about sieging waves, AoEing them down and then sieging those turrets.
Yeah, couldn't agree more on OMG. Kind of back to their roots here again. You mentioned they played Nunu, that was banned actually here by Energy Pacemaker. Didn't seem like they really fit Nunu here. Loveland about to start up his red buff. Looks like blue buff's going to be the starter. There it goes, just spawning up now for EPHK. So OMG, I think definitely in their comfort zone here with these picks. I mean, even a champion like Vayne, who, you know, we maybe don't necessarily associate with a team like OMG. You mentioned Graves, that's definitely something San's known for. Vayne, even Vayne can get picks and really just aggressively use her ultimate and use Condemn and Tumble to kind of position and pick people off. So it kind of feels like we're going back to a little bit of the OMG we're used to seeing here, and I think given that they did struggle a bit in the first day here of Week 5, that's probably a good thing.
I think it's almost an understatement to say that, based on, I mean, they were comprehensively outplayed by YG, which is a statement I never thought I'd make, you know, knowing that YG's a new team, knowing that OMG's been so dominant. I mean, they entered yesterday's game 11-1, and then lost comprehensively to a team who was, I believe, equal last at the time. So it's just a super, super surprising result, as we see Big Pommel take a lot of trade damage down the bottom here.
Yeah, some nice Aqua Prisons there from LPL have come out there, tagging Sona almost twice there and just doing a nice bit of trade damage. I mean, you know, Nami, she does have a heal, but it's a little awkward. Sona's heal definitely better at keeping you up slowly over time. Nice Condemn there, actually, but no follow-up, unfortunately. And funnily enough, Kane actually getting a little out-traded here by Vayne. Sarge has been really aggressive in moving forward. You can see even they're trying to tumble forward and do a bit of damage here and there. I mean, Caitlyn is not normally someone you associate with getting their tower pushed in, but despite the nice synergy you have with Nami, I think that's one of the problems with this sort of lane, is that Nami is very vulnerable, especially in the early levels, to kind of getting picked on a little.
And I feel this game, Loveland will kind of tell the tale here. I mean, we have two very high-pressure junglers in terms of ganking pressure between Jarvan and Lee Sin. If Lee Sin can kind of snowball these lanes, and then we have such a strong pick-related comp here, you know, especially Cool here on that, Ahri. I feel like if Ahri can ever be snowballed to get ahead, you could see a lot of snowball coming across the board from that mobile damage assassin.
Down the bottom, actually, Condemn onto Laufey. Damage going to come through. Silver bolts there. Tumble as well, but not quite enough. The Jarvan looking for the counter gang, and that could be the first kill. Flash forward, then barrier pop by San to try and get out of it, but a Piltover Peacemaker secures it right at the end there. The exhaust blown on booping there as well by a Big Pommel to try and prevent that Jarvan from doing the damage, but Caitlyn had more than enough there. Really, really nice punishment of that extension from OMG's bottom lane by EPH.
Yeah, and first bit of pressure coming out for Jarvan here. He has managed to get that first successful gank down.
Yeah, you saw Lee Sin in the mid lane was trying to bait out Supercat's Living Shadow. He actually used it, but Lee Sin couldn't quite react in time. Lovely now actually gonna find Jarvan in the jungle there. Good shield there for the Golden Aegis, and just a little bit of poke damage traded back and forth. I mean, Loveland trying to apply pressure here, but as you noted, has not quite gotten a successful gank off yet. Bit of trading here in the top lane as well. Going just going to say hi to Domox. And I mean, Zac Renekton's kind of a funny lane. I think these two champions, if they were never banned in a game, would probably be the two of the most common here in the LPL. I mean, you said that Zac splits every lane. Is it true here as well in the top against Renekton?
Absolutely. I mean, Zac splits 1v2s, let alone 1v1s here. And even though Renekton's such a strong bruiser early game, I mean, being able to get a kill on a Zac, barring a crazy gank or a super misplay, you know, super early, like level 2, Zac's net's never going to fall down in this sort of a lane.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things, just kind of looking a little more at the comps, is that, you know, I kind of mentioned Energy Pacemaker's comp. It just very much feels like a kind of counter push, a push comp really. Whether you're counter pushing lanes or split pushing lanes or sieging, they kind of do all those things well. I think it's funny to me that every cool, sorry, could be in trouble here, but actually just going to walk away with Golden Aegis. It's funny to me that every single person, barring Lee Sin, and obviously he has some CC, has some sort of stun available.
Absolutely, and it's, yeah, that's the right way to go, basically. I mean, control, I mean, OMG's known about picks and control, and that's what their picks here really do promote. Yeah,
so it's kind of nice to see Loveland back on a jungler. I think definitely suits your style a little more. I mean, you know, they've dipped their toes into Nunu here as going in the top lane, just going to trade back and forth here with Domox, but Zac should be totally fine there, and he is. Actually saw Lee Sin down the left side of the jungle there as well, hanging out, trying to find some wolves. I believe he did a spot a counter jungler. He's actually got a ward nice and deep there, kind of just to the left of the mid tower, if you can see it on your minimap. So, you know, Loveland definitely hunting around, trying to find areas on the map where he can pressure. But just in general, I think kind of a return here. It's Big Pommel forced to flash away from Aquabiz, and Booping's pressure been really, really nice. You know, they try the Yorick as well, Papa. I guess, you know, maybe a fresh week, not happy with yesterday's loss. Go back to basics here for OMG.
Absolutely, and you know that Lee Sin, you know, so much early pressure. He transitions into great peel for this Vayne pick here. Just a smart choice in almost any comp.
Yeah, for me, I think that one adaptation that I really like from OMG is actually Vayne. You know, traditionally this may have been someone like Graves, or I don't know if they played Varus, but that would suit their style if they did. Vayne is, you know, a nice carry to always have because, as you said, she's a great late game carry. If you ever get farm, you're at a point where you're pretty happy there, so you can kind of bank on your late game a little bit here, but just in general, Vayne kind of provides what they're looking for from an AD carry, while also being kind of a nice insurance policy almost as well.
You know, Vayne right here out-CSing Caitlyn in lane, which is no mean feat given just how much extra harass you eat as a Vayne in the Caitlyn lane.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, before OMG were actually pushing aggressively down towards that bottom lane as well, which is also not something you normally see, although to be fair it was the early levels, so Builds of a Peacemaker wasn't quite ready to go and really AoE down those waves, but yeah, they seem to be doing a nice job down the bottom lane to do OMG, just have to make sure they shake off that continued Jarvan pressure, but after that first gank there and the second failed gank down the bottom, both junglers been quite passive at this point actually, just building up towards their level 6s, and maybe then we'll see a bit more pressure come through.
See Berserker's Greaves here coming out from Vayne. That means at level 6 with Final Hour, so much chase potential obviously with the extra move speed compared to Caitlyn, but also, I mean, getting more of those Silver Bolts procs, maybe being able to have that increased move speed and tumble to get away from a built-over Peacemaker. Just a nice pickup here, all in all.
Yeah, and it seems generally that, I think we've noted, Vayne's kind of moving away from the Tumble max and more towards the Silver Bolts max, with maybe an extra point in Tumble, just to kind of hedge a little and get, you know, kind of dip into that skill and then kind of definitely moving towards Silver Bolt. So that would make sense to me that, you know, Berserker Greaves attack speed with Vayne, always nice, so not too surprising to see that come out here. Caitlyn's actually gone back now as well. Picked up a pick, in fact, going here in the top lane with Loveland. Could look to die for under Domok. Zac, of course, with that passive, can be tricky, but let's bounce, nicely timed there. And that's going to be a very, very nice shutdown of that gank there from Zac. I mean, you said it before, Papa, Zac, a very tricky champion to move out of lane, even with a Lee Sin up there, ready to go. Domok's looked totally fine there.
Yeah, but he was at low health, is forced to back here. Probably going to be a lot of damage coming down to his top turret. We are, of course, still on 3.9, so no extra armor for these turrets in the early game, meaning that they're still very susceptible to those.
Yep, nice death mark. They're actually going to dodge a little bit of damage. It might be enough. Over the top, though, comes through. And Supercat just alive there as that health potion sticking away. Forced to use practically everything there, even having to death mark to shake off some Spirit Rush damage. But nice usage there. Cool. Now not able to help down this dragon fight. I mean, Star's going to come in. Instant cataclysm, but a great tumble and a crescendo. Booping now could be in trouble as the damage comes through, but Exhaust has been used on Hassan as well. He gets one kill. Dodges the Aqua Prison there, does Vayne. And now Kane's going to get chased down there as well. The Sonar heals coming through. The Final Hour was popped in there as well. The double buff Vayne could be a massive problem. Big Pomelo going to pick up that next kill, and that's going to be the third and final one there for San. Beautiful 2v3 counterplay there from OMG's bottom.
Just an amazing outplay from San there, and such a little thing facilitated that kill based time because of the early pressure. You know, Vayne, after dying, picked up that second Doran's Blade, and then naturally when she shopped, most people would expect the Vamp Scepter towards the Bilgewater, but the genius of picking up the Berserker's Greaves there is that she had chase potential. Vamp Scepter would kind of been a nothing buy just because it's even more gold spent on early game lifesteal. Taking the Berserker's Greaves there opened up the kill potential, and then the outplay there, just wonderful, wonderful play from San.
And now a big jump in power here for San as well. Has those two Dorans as you mentioned, and now the Bilgewater Cutlass has come out as well. So obviously we're going to see Blade of the Ruin King here, or a dagger along the way to that item there as well for San. And I mean, I mentioned it before, Caitlyn kind of went back, got a pickaxe, got a Vamp Scepter. Totally fine items for Caitlyn to have. You usually feel very safe at your long range, but you know, if you ever get into a situation just like that, when you're actually forced to fight 1v1, can be tricky against a champion like Vayne, who's just such a great duelist, and that was very impressive from LMG. They knew that was 2v3. Cool absolutely could not go back in there with no cooldowns.
Completely just fantastic, fantastic play, and just warps the nature of bot lane here. I mean, the double buffs is enough of an indicator to say, hey, stay away from me, but Caitlyn picking up trade kills like that, 2-1-1, as you said, with the Bilgewater power jump, even just a sneaky...
Big Pomelo getting tidal wave, forced to flash out of Aqua Prison there. But Sona will be safe for now. Looks like Big Pomelo really just aggressively flashing where he needs to, and kind of makes sense. You never want to be the guy that dies after you flash, of course, it's awkward. So, you know, nice to see the Big Pomelo. It's just, you know what, I'm happy with just using this here. Don't want to die too much here. Cool now, gonna get jumped on there as well, but the Spirit Rush once more. The Living Shadow reposition though. Now Domox is rotating through. The Spirit Rush is coming. The knock up just enough there to tap onto that Ari, and that Ignite will pick up the kill there for Zac as a nice roam comes from top to mid lane.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say how he managed to make so much ground without being seen, but of course we look down here, something we've remarked on a few times from the Tencent LPL, very, very minimal ward coverage coming out from this map.
Yeah, absolutely nothing along that river there, so Zach freely able to just roam down there. I mean, I guess with the minions pushing in, you can see Go-Gong's actually pushed that wave all the way to the tier 2 turret now, as Domox is going to defend that off. Of course, the only turret that's been felled this game is the one in the top there, so maybe thought they'd have enough vision there with minions, but not to be the case there, and a bit awkward there for Cool, who tries to outplay Zeg with that death mark, but just managed to get tagged by the knock-up of Let's Bounce and get picked off. So, you know, a nice little win there for OMG, EPHK, sorry. It's actually 3-2 in kills between the two teams, so pretty close. The biggest difference, though, that tower and that dragon, plus the extra kill, adding up to quite a bit of gold here early on. 3,000 gold at just over 12 minutes is quite a bit.
It is roams like that that make me wonder, you know, look forward to things like World Finals and wonder how the Chinese teams will do against these, maybe the Korean teams and other regions that just put down more of those early wards, just because, you know, that's not what they're used to. That's not what they're playing with their 3 games each week. So a lot of adaptation and maybe some scouting reports from enemy teams is going to lead to interesting games for whoever we actually see coming out of the LPL to represent China.
I mean, absolutely. There's so many awesome leagues around the world. We're very privileged to be able to bring you this particular one here, the LPL. And of course, you know, each region has their own little meta game. You know, everyone plays week in, week out, trying to beat, you know, the 7 other teams that are there. As looks like Go-Going could be in a spot of bottom there. Laupe actually in a lot of trouble there. The tidal wave doesn't even complete there, as that ability will go on cooldown there. And it's just domination here. Kano going to get Silver Bolted again, activates the barrier, but absolutely nothing they can do. As Big Pomelo was actually tower diving there, tanking quite a few turret hits on that Soda.
And one bit of individual skill pastry time, and things have escalated very, very quickly in this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's that tower's going there down the bottom as well. That was actually essentially a proxy dive between the tier 1 and tier 2 turrets, so very impressive there. Looks like Deathbug now going to come out as well, but Loveland's here ready to go. Zeg could be in trouble there as he gets condemned into the wall, and absolutely is in trouble as Loveland kicks him in the face to clean that one up. Ari not even close to getting an assist there for that one, despite being in the area. And I mean, bottom lane,
wonderful map movement there though, pastry time. I mean, 4 members, you know, tracking that Z movement and then preventing any kills from coming out there. Nice play from OMG.
Yep, and that's really what defines them as a team. They love to move together and aggressively use their ultimates to pick off champions. You know, Sun's doing enough work down the bottom right now on this vein, and that item right there is big problems for Energy Pacemaker. Blade of the Ruin King's been finished up at under 14 minutes, and that's with double Doran's Berserker Greaves.
And now the issue for Caitlyn is that she picked up that pickaxe early just to have a bit of extra AD, a bit of extra oomph for her auto attacks, but she doesn't have that Bloodthirster rush. Probably not going to come out here as we expect, as we see the rotation coming into this inner mid turret here. The vision and the global objectives also.
Well, Let's Bounce there. Nice block from Loveland. Actually safeguards over to block that ace in the hole. Now maybe going to turn it around. Going a very aggressive one. Supercat Lee Sin goes back in as well. Just trying to get a bit of damage there. Sun now looking for a spot here, trying to pick somebody up. Oh my god, the tumble to dodgy Aqua Prison was amazing as Lapi is going to go down. And Sun once more actually towered us a little too aggressively. As the barrier, the tower goes down. Cataclysm there from booping just to block them off. Will save the rest of his team, but Sun, oh my goodness. Every little thing on Vayne he does is magical.
This game was in the balance, you know, not 3 minutes ago, pastry time. Potentially an inhibitor going down here for EPHK.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure here, the power of Vayne right now, just with that Blade of the Ruin King so early, and the movement from OMG as a team looking absolutely spot on here in this opening game. This inhibitor is done, by the way, and we've seen inhibitors fall pretty early here in the LPL. I mean, looks like Deathmark down the bottom will actually pick up Loveland, so Supercat with a small victory there down towards the bottom lane, but not the earliest inhibitor we've seen, but this is going to be problems for EPHK.
And I wonder if that early pickaxe for lane presence has kind of necessitated an Infinity Edge pickup here from Kane, even though we really highly expected that Bloodthirster rush coming in for sieging potential. Now she's just kind of caught in that awkward spot where she doesn't have the 2100 gold or so to finish an Infinity Edge, so she can't even look at Vayne the wrong way here without getting super,
Big Pomelo going aggressive there. Flash hold on to Kane. Sign in there as well. So much damage coming out from that Vayne, and that's the kill for Sona actually, as they're going to keep chasing through here. Sun just kiting forward there, making sure they can keep all walking. Domok's actually going to look to pick up the kill, but Tumble's not going to make that happen. There's the stun coming out as well, and there's just so many CCs on the OMG side. You saw it right there. The Big Pomelo starting it off. Flash ultimate on Sona, and then everybody just completely dumps on top of your head there. I mean, OMG, when they're ahead, they're such a punishing team to have to play against.
And Sun 7-1-4, just mammoth on this Vayne.
It's very, very scary right now. I mean, nobody right now wants to face Vayne. Not even the tanky Zac or the tanky Jarvan. And that's a scary thing when they're AD carry, especially at this point. It's just looking so scary. The static shift now picked up as well. Rabadon's death cap completed as well for Cool. It was looking like maybe an early Zonius with the Seeker's Armguard says, absolutely not. I am absolutely spoiled for gold right now. Let me just go straight for death cap. And OMG at this point, a massive, massive lead already. Close to 10,000 gold ahead. In fact, should be as Loveland finishes up that dragon. EPHK, they have a lot of trouble. You mentioned this Caitlyn already. Doesn't really have items. Going to be very difficult for Energy Pacemaker to clear out a few super minions, let alone the waves and waves that are going to be coming down their mid lane.
And I understand the selfish choice coming out of Ari here. I mean, she's 0, 1, and 2. You know, they're in a very commanding spot right now, so you can understand a bit of a selfish pickup. But it just means more AoE damage, more damage to multiple targets going to come out here compared to the Deathfire Grasp. And the Deathfire Grasp also is strong, mainly in those split push slash pick
Zac could be in trouble as Super Cake. They're going to use a Death Mark style once more. Can he do it? Kane looking for it as well. Once Ace in the hole, but the damage coming through. So much lifesteal. Great card to get Kane. Getting exploded there by Vayne. And just nothing they can do. Zed just completely is forced to leave the party. Jarvan now going to come in there as the Cataclysm comes over. But this Vayne is just so obscenely fed that nothing EP can do. Nothing they can throw at him does anything. As Super Cat looking for it. Finally finds the kill for the shutdown on Vayne. But that was very close to being a straight up 1v2 into 1v3 there. Now Laupli looking for the tidal wave as Cool crucially misses the charm to get that kill on Tanami. And I mean, they'll be happy to pick up 500 bonus gold for their Zed, but that is one scary Vayne.
And I haven't seen aggression on an AD carry like that since the IEM World Championship B stream, when of course we saw Raven going nuts on Twitch when he was super fed. San, not a care in the world. Doesn't matter how many members are in front of him. He's going to go for the all-star plays, and who can blame him after the earlier ones?
Yeah, I mean, even that one looked pretty good, and unfortunately was felled there as Super Cat picks up a nice chunk of gold. Actually, Blade of the Ruin King finished up as a result. So, you know, Zed can maybe get something going down a side lane and try and push things away. At the very least, he'll be better at clearing out the super minion problem they have in the mid lane, but I mean, EPHK, a lot of ground to make up here, and OMG are not a team that let you get away with stuff like, you know, sneaking away towers or sneaking away barons. They are absolutely going to keep control of this map here. They're actually 6-0 up in turrets as well, which is an indication that OMG things, they're going well.
And I was about to say, the side lane pushing, the strength of Zed in a split push means nothing when, you know, basically all of your outer structures are gone. Like, Zed has no vision and just no ability to force those false choices, force that situation where it's Zed split pushing. Because, I mean, ironically, they actually do have a very strong 4v4 comp here, which suits Zed to a T, but it just means nothing given the context of this game, as OMG are on Baron.
Yep, they're going to be on Baron here. Energy Pacemaker, they might know what's happening, but it doesn't matter. Basically nothing they can do. Loveland's not even there, by the way. He has their smite, they don't need it. And there's Baron for OMG. That's very, very ballsy to me, by the way. The jungler, actually, I believe, smited a minion to push the top wave there. Wasn't interested in Baron. It's like, no, my team can finish it. That's fine. And now Baron, oh no.
See, no doubt the siege coming with the Baron here. And again, I know I've said it a few times this game, but this game really escalated quickly. It was looking finely balanced for at least 9 to 10 minutes there, and then suddenly it's just a one-sided stomp.
Well, actually, when you mention, you know, split pushing, one thing that's generally true of push comps, and we see it a lot in poke, is that you kind of need to be even or better against your opponents to really make it work. Because if you're split pushing, you need to be scary. Otherwise, they can just ignore you and either send someone that doesn't really matter after you, or, you know, if you're not forced to send two or more members after you, that's really,
well, I mean,
really
look here, though, pastry time is Zed split pushing, and that's lovely, but they're losing 2 inhibitors for it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, he just can't push or pressure fast enough for it to really matter. I mean, OMG could send almost anyone here to go after his Laupli gets charmed to death there. Big Pomo using the ult to secure the kill on the support, and that's how OMG like to play. I mean, Zed, as you said, trying to get some work done here. I think maybe just trying to get at least one turret on the board, and does do so. Loveland looking for the play there, finds Super Cat to kick him back in. He living Shadow flashes out of the way, but now Domok's going to get crippled there as well as the Tempest comes through. Sun still chasing people down. OMG once again chasing down EPHK in their base. And I think Energy Pacemaker getting some flashbacks back to that week 3 game 1 they had to really kick things off here for our 10-10 LPL Summer coverage, and that's it. Just under 21 minutes, OMG sneaking the victory there and looking back on form here at the start of day 2 for week 5.
Absolutely. One of the most one-sided and quickest finishes we've seen in the LPL. Definitely a different flavor to the first time we saw this matchup. You know, there's no sort of the occult here. But just fantastic play from OMG. Just trying to show that yesterday's loss to YG was a one-off thing, and obviously they still have that commanding lead at the top of the Tencent LPL.
Yep, so continue to rack up wins here to OMG. One loss, not going to slow them down too much here, and looking really good here as we move through week 5, day 2. If you, of course, missed any of the matches from yesterday or any of our other coverage, feel free to go over to youtube.com/lolchampseries, and you can check that all out here. We'll be back. It is going to be more matches here for week 5, day 2 coming up. Tencent LPL Summer will return.